The haunted school trip. Every year, our school organized an educational trip for the students. This time, the destination was an old abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. The teachers told us the place had historical significance. But there were also rumors, stories of strange happenings. Most of us laughed it off, thinking it was just to make the trip more thrilling. The bus ride was filled with excitement, chatter, and music. The sun was shining brightly, making the idea of anything eerie seem impossible. After a few hours, we arrived at the mansion. It stood tall, surrounded by dense trees. The structure was crumbling, with vines wrapped around the walls and broken windows staring like hollow eyes. Our guide, Mr. Harris, gave us a brief history of the mansion. It once belonged to the Blackwood family, who mysteriously disappeared over a century ago. Ever since then, locals claim to hear whispers and see flickering lights at night. The story sent a chill down my spine, but I brushed it off. As we entered, the air grew colder. The wooden floor creaked beneath our feet. A faint smell of dampness filled the air. Dust particles floated in the dim light, breaking through the cracked windows. Our group moved from room to room, taking notes, snapping pictures. Everything seemed fine until we reached the library. The room was large, with shelves stacked high with ancient books. Suddenly, the heavy door slammed shut behind us. Everyone jumped. Mr. Harris rushed to open it, but it wouldn't budge. "Must be the wind," he muttered, though he didn't sound convinced. As we waited for someone to come help, a soft whisper echoed through the room. Faint, almost like a breath against the back of the neck. My heart pounded. "Did you hear that?" I whispered to my friend Lisa. She nodded, her eyes wide. The whisper came again, clearer this time. It sounded like someone calling a name. "Eleanor." No one in our group was named Eleanor. Books began to fall off the shelves, one by one. We huddled together. The air felt heavier. The shadows in the corners seemed to shift. "This isn't funny," one of the boys said, trying to sound brave. Suddenly, an old portrait hanging on the wall crashed to the ground. Behind it, scratched into the wall, were the words, "Help me." Panic set in. Mr. Harris kept trying the door, his hands trembling. The whispers grew louder, desperate. "Eleanor, help me. Find me." A cold breath brushed against my ear. I turned. No one was there. Shut it. Then, after what felt like hours, the door creaked open on its own. We didn't wait to ask why. We ran. Outside, the sun was setting. Long shadows stretched across the grounds. No one spoke, not until we were back on the bus, speeding away from the mansion. Later, we learned the truth. Eleanor Blackwood was the youngest daughter of the family. She had vanished without a trace. Her body was never found. No one could explain what happened that day. Some say it was just our imagination, but I know what I heard, and I know I wasn't the only one. Even now, years later, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night to whispers in the dark, calling a name that isn't mine. Eleanor. Dear viewers, if you like the story, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.